Hola YouTube familia, welcome to my channel. My name is Ms.Jxckson, and if you absolutely love this look as much as I do, stay tuned so you can see how we get it done. For our look today, we're going to be starting off with our brows already done, and for the base of our eyeshadow, we're going to be using a combination of the Too Faced Born This Way concealer and also the NYX eyeshadow base. So we're just going to go ahead and start applying that NYX eyeshadow base to the lid, and then follow that up by a little bit of the concealer. The only reason I'm mixing the two here is because I'm not really wearing any foundation in this look. It's just going to be the eyes, and also I'm going to be smoking out that lower lash line, so I like to have a little combination of the two just to help get a nice solid base. So using a beauty blender, we are going to go ahead and blend that out, taking that all the way up to the eyebrow and then also underneath the lash line for when we smoke out the lash line later. And for the transition color, we are going to be using the Morphe 350 palette. I wish I knew what color that was. Obviously, it's my favorite as it is almost gone. But starting pretty high up here, almost towards the brow, we're just going to be laying down that transition color so that way we can blend in our crease color into that color once we start laying that crease color down. So next up, using the Morphe 15D eyeshadow palette with the color in the crease, we are actually going to be putting this right in our crease, so perfect name for the perfect color. And just starting with the nice easy stippling motion, I am using a bit of a fluffy blending brush to actually pack this color in there, but you're not going to really blend out too much. You really want to start packing this color into your crease before you actually start blending it and smoking it out. So that's what you'll see me doing, just packing in that color in until we are fully orange on our lid. So as you see, I am continuing to pack in that orange color right into my lid, into that crease area. It is creating kind of sort of a harsh line right up top there, right next to our transition color. If that does happen, don't worry too much. We are going to be blending this out. Like I said, really what we want to focus on first is packing in that color. Then we'll start worrying about blending it out and making sure that there's no harsh lines. So we are going to go ahead and start blending our life away, because we finally got to that point where, you know, happy with the amount of color we have with the crease color. So we're just going to blend until that starts to transition smoothly into that transition color. So next we are going back into that Morphe 350 palette. I grabbed kind of this cream, almost like vanilla color to go right along that brow line, and then I'm taking that brush that we used earlier for our transition color with no additional pigment on it right now. Just wanted to go back in and make sure that we could see that gradient from the crease color to the actual transition color, and it kind of gives a more soft effect instead of a harsh kind of effect going right up to the brow. So that's what that cream color is there for, is really just to act as a buffer. So we are going to go back in with that fluffy blending brush that we were using earlier to add just a little bit more color, a little bit more pigment, making sure that it is blended seamlessly between that transition color and that crease color. Using a small pencil brush, I'm going to go ahead and pack in that pigment to our lower lash line and then use that fluffy blending brush to go ahead and blend it out. I'm only going about 3/4 or halfway because we are actually going to add a little bit more of the glitter pigment we're going to use on our lid to our lower lash line as well to kind of mirror the look. So we are going to be using the Master Conceal by Maybelline in the shade 40 Medium to go ahead and start cutting our crease. And as you will see, when I am starting to map out where I want this crease to lay at, it is actually going to be a lot higher than where my natural eye crease is. One reason for that is, you know, once you have on all your lashes and everything, and your eyes are resting, you still want to be able to see the shimmer pigment that we're going to put on top of this concealer. Still want to see all that hard work that you were doing. And also, when you put your crease too low and you have shimmer pigment just resting right on your lid, when your eyes go to rest, it's going to transfer that shimmer pigment to the top, which essentially is just gonna mess up the makeup look in the long run. So it's just easier to kind of get ahead of the curve and just go ahead and put it a little bit higher to avoid that transfer, and then you can actually see the look really clear. And this is really just for me what I find works for my eye shape. It really does depend on what kind of eye shape you have and kind of how much space you have to work with. So I'm just going to take my finger here, blend out the edge of that concealer base that we just put down. I really don't want the edges to be super harsh, so we're going to use that same fluffy blending brush we were using earlier with some additional crease color pigment on there to just go ahead and blend out that edge so it's not super harsh. So next up, we are going to be using the Dominique Cosmetics Celestial Thunder palette and that white shimmer in the corner called Eternal Light, which is honestly one of my favorites. And we're going to start packing that color into the first, I would say, quarter of this base that we have laid down. And I'm using kind of a dense flathead brush. I don't want to use anything too fluffy when I'm doing this. I really want to keep it concentrated because, you know, with shimmer, it can go everywhere. So we really want to just pack it in as tightly as we can, just to make sure we're getting a good color payout. So going back in that same Morphe 15D palette, using the shade Glow this time, which is a orange shimmer, we are going to put that on the rest of our lid space. And don't worry too much about there being a harsh line between the two right now. We really want to just focus on getting that shimmer packed on there. For this shade, I am using more of a domed dense brush to pack it on there, just because of the kind of shimmer. It's not as glittery as that white one, so it usually won't get everywhere, but the Eternal Light will definitely get all over the place. So going back in with that same brush we were using for the white one, we are going to kind of start merging the two shimmers in the middle, kind of going back and forth between the white shimmer shade and then also going back in with that orange shimmer shade, just to make sure that there's a nice fair balance between the two, and that the line isn't super harsh and they are somewhat blended. So now now that we are all good with the shimmer, just want to go back in and blend between the crease color just on that outer edge. Again, just want to make sure that it kind of blends seamlessly into that crease color and make sure that the edges aren't super harsh. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the same on the other eye. So now for the finishing touches, we are going to add some mascara, also do a simple eyeliner, just going to do a cute little wing, and then add my lashes on there as well. One thing I did not show was me adding the white shimmer to my bottom lash line, which you'll see here, but it does give it a little bit more of a pop, which I absolutely love. Thanks so much for tuning in to see how we achieve this look. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you like it, and we'll drop a like down below, a comment in the comment section, and share this with all your friends. And of course, let me know if you love it, and if you try it yourself, of course, tag me on Instagram. You know I want to see it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when I post a new vid. Bye!